Hey there, I'm Miss Osuna. Welcome to Fashion Sketching with me, Miss Osuna. Let's do an oval and a face so that we can make some hair. As a bonus, I'm going to do some facial features. So you already know that we divide our oval horizontally in 3 spaces and then vertically. And now here are some very soft curved lines for the hair. Once we have our hair in place, we are going to simply add some details for our facial features, and those will be created with smiles and frowns and parenthesis shapes. All right, keep watching, and then we'll get to the coloring. All right, so we're going to get started with a light green here, and literally we're starting from the crown of the head going downward, and then we jump down to about the eye, and then we do by the actual neck, and then our far left side. So now we move to the right side, crown of the head, then you jump down because you're leaving room for that halo. We want to shadow in by the neck because that's going to be darker, and then the bottom going up is going to be darker still. Remember, our left side is shadow, right side is light source, so you will see that I leave more white space on the right. Now we're going to move on to our next color. And these are Copic markers, but you can use any design markers that you have. So this is a dark gray, and I am doing the same thing. I'm going right on top of the green, and I'm just basically adding layers. So follow along with the parenthesis shapes from the crown going down. And most of this is parenthesis shapes. and then skip some space, darken in by the neck, and then of course you want to darken in from the bottom going upward. All of these though, again, are parenthesis shapes. Make sure you darken your left side because that's our shadow side, and the light source for us will be on the right. Barely touch the page on the right side, so I have a very thin line that I'm drawing on the right side edge. Next, I'm moving on to black, and I am basically repeating this process. So I started with the very light green, and then I went to a darker gray, and now the black. That's going to be the darkest color that I'm adding. And I'm placing the color very lightly on top of where the color already exists, just to give definition. I'm not coloring everything in flat. I'm just using the point of my brush tip. Now I'm going to add a darker green to blend the colors together. So I'm dragging the black basically downward and then upward, in the same way making these parenthesis shapes. And as I am adding this darker green and blending, you can see that now we're starting to get the feeling of having strands of hair. Before it just seemed like curved line shapes here, but now it's starting to feel like strands of hair. So blend everything together. Go on top of your gray, and on top of your lighter green and on top of your black, and start to melt these colors together. So gently and slowly, using that point tip of your brush. Once again, this is a Copic marker, but any markers will do. If you don't have a brush tip side, then you can just use your wedge side. That will work as well. But the key here is to go on top of all the colors and pull the colors downward and upward, and that's what gives the feeling of strands of hair. Next, I'm going to be using the colorless blender. So make sure you scrub that onto a scratch paper to make sure it's not dirty from leftover ink on your blender. And then once you're sure your blender is nice and clean, go on ahead and use that blender to start to melt the colors together even further. So notice from the crown downward, I am starting in the same exact way, and then I skip space where the halo is, and then I go upward. We don't want to get rid of all the white, but we do want to add what looks like strands of hair. So small, tiny strokes with the colorless blender. And this is up to your discretion, how much you do this or how little you do this. And now I'm just using a gold, it has a green tint to it, colored pencil. And this greenish gold colored pencil is just adding another level of definition. All those different layers of lighter colors, darker colors, and then thinner strokes and thicker strokes add up to a very nicely balanced sketch. Next, I'm going to add black colored pencil for even more lines and more contrast. And remember to gently touch the page. When you're using that darker, heavier colored pencil, you want to be very light with your pressure so that you don't ruin your white spaces. Once you finish adding your super darks, that is it. You'll be all set and off and running to the races. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'm Miss Osuna, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye for now.